selected, can't talk around the show, selected Miami over Notre Dame after having Notre Dame above Miami a week before. Monday Night Football got a good matchup up the road in Los Angeles. The Chargers, Justin Herbert is expected to play despite dealing with a hand injury that he suffered last week against the Raiders, be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. That game will go in at 5:15. Philly is currently a 2.5-point favorite with the point total set at 41.5. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Welcome to Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Sound off like you got a pair.
I like mine to stand stiff.
Hey, yo.
The NFL never lets us down.
Give it to Jameer. Run it outside. Got a blocker. Down to the 10. To the 5. To the end zone. Wave to him. He's gone, baby. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Sanders backpedaling, looking left. Pressure, throwing back corner. Fannin goes up high, and he brings it down. Touchdown!
The Raiders' fight for the number one pick continues.
First and goal at the 3. Puts the ball into the belly of Harvey. Into the hole. Across the line. Touchdown Broncos.
And a wild one in Buffalo.
Allen steps up in the pocket. 40, 30, down to the 20. Allen looking for the end zone, and he's in. Stroud, pocket collapsing, dumps it off to Woody, takes it across the 5, and in. Touchdown, Houston.
What the heck just happened?
Mahomes unloads downfield and tipped and intercepted.
The Aztecs are headed back to New Mexico for a bowl game, and the uproar about the college football playoff is just getting started. Plus,
Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, Ohio State, more than 75.5 receiving yards. Yeah! Rob Devishvili, more than 109.5 significant strikes against Peter Yan.
Yes.
Joe Burrow, more than 255.5 pass yards.
Oh, yes.
And Pat Mahomes, more than 22.5 rush yards.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
I know Walker. It's the one that said bad mother.
we're kicking off the week from the studios of San Diego Sports 760 in the Fletch Zone.
Well, here we go. It's a Monday. Welcome in, everybody. It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. It was a quick weekend. It was an eventful weekend. And, man, do we have a lot to talk about today. All right, college football playoff is set. There's drama with it. We're going to get to it in a little bit. We've had the San Diego State Aztecs announced to be in the New Mexico Bowl, which means I'm getting my Albuquerque on, bro. If there's any heads up you can give me on what to do in Albuquerque, New Mexico, please let us know. Text line is up, 70470. Start your message with team. You can find us on YouTube and on Twitter as well, at San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube, at Fletch and Sammy on X. You find us there. We are going to start off with the NFL today. We got about 5 minutes here. We're going to bear down and take a look at the playoff picture in both the NFC and the AFC and who may be left off that playoff picture. A team like the Baltimore Ravens could end up on the outside looking in because Isaiah Likely got called for an incomplete pass when it was clearly to everybody a touchdown. We got the Indianapolis Colts, who took a big hit yesterday, as Daniel Jones, who's been dealing with a broken leg, pops on an Achilles to that as well. Could they be a team that misses the postseason and is on the outside looking in after spending a lot of time this year all the way at the very tippy top? And then there's a team.
Just say it. Just cut to the chase.
In Kansas City, named the Chiefs, who have every single year that Patrick Mahomes has been the starter from the beginning of the season till the end of the season, has finished the season in no worse than the AFC Championship game. This may be the year where the Chiefs don't even make it to the AFC postseason. And now Sammy Long, who I believe you're a Chiefs fan, aren't you, Sammy? That's the team you're rooting for?
Yes, I am a Chiefs fan.
Sammy Long is a bit of a Chiefs fan over there. And right before we get on the air today, literally 35 seconds before he hits the button to start his first update read, here was the quote from one Sammy Long. And I quote, "We have the same record as the effing Dolphins." End quote. No context.
It's so
no
depressing,
nothing,
bro.
Just kind of out of nowhere.
So depressing.
I wasn't going to be the one to bring up the Kansas City Chiefs, but when he said that, I knew it was fair game. So, Sammy, how was your weekend?
Terrible. It was bad.
Like bottom 5 weekend of your life?
It was bad. It was, ruined my holiday season. There's nothing to look forward to. This is how it used to be. This is how the Chiefs used to be, playing irrelevant football in December. I'm looking at mock drafts this morning. I'm looking at NFL mock drafts. It is, I can't even listen. Last night was a microcosm of everything that has went wrong in the Chiefs season. The Cowboy game, the offense is unbelievable. Defense can't stop anybody. Last night, defense is unbelievable. One of the best halves of Chiefs football I've seen in a decade. Offense can't score. And it wasn't the offensive line. The offensive line was missing 3 starters. Issei Pole came in from the practice squad. I thought played admirably. All I got to say is poor Patrick. Poor Patrick. Kelsey drops two balls. Noah Gray drops 2 balls. Rashee Rice drops a ball. Kareem Hunt drops a ball.
Rashee Rice dropped 2 4th downs, actually.
Yeah, well, the one kind of got knocked out. But if you want to say 2, Tyquan Thornton had it in his hands.
That was a touchdown.
A touchdown. Gets that one knocked out. Juju gets one knocked out. I mean, what does this man have to do? Does he have to walk out and hand it to his receivers?
I mean, Mahomes, he threw 3 interceptions on the night.
If you watch the game, you know damn well that game was not on Patrick Mahomes. It was on the stars. Not Collinsworth said it. The stars did not show up.
Oh, Chris Collinsworth is who we're going to trust with objective
it's
Chiefs
right.
talk? God, that was nauseating last night.
First off, Mahomes had nothing to do with the loss last night.
Okay.
The 3rd pick got popped in the air.
Yeah.
The second one was basically a punt pass because they just threw it down to Lassiter. The receivers were awful. End of story. I mean, the defense is unbelievable. People are pointing to Andy Reid today. Look, I get it, the 4th and 1, 4th and 4, but him putting some trust in the offense wanted to go. Why can't they pick it up?
Yeah, he put the ball in his best player's hands.
And these idiots who want to fire Andy Reid today online.
No one's saying that.
Yes, it is. Look at Twitter.
No one serious is saying that.
People, literally these imbeciles think that they should fire Andy Reid. That is ludicrous. You should be banned from talking football if you think Andy Reid should be fired for one season.
So it was a good weekend for you?
It was a horrible weekend.
You
I was
nice
stuck
time?
Driving from 4 hours back from LA in a truck that smelled for cocoa.
So
I'm telling you,
good weekend.
I had to pick up a truck and it literally smelled like someone took a crap in it. This is 100% real. I dropped it off to our program director this morning. I said, you might want to think about a deep clean.
So it was a solid weekend?
Awful. Just a terrible weekend. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. I took the drive up the coast, actually. My wife and I, we went to San Luis Obispo. I spent about 11 hours in the car to spend 13 hours with my family, but my team wasn't playing this weekend, so I just kind of watched as the 49ers rose in the NFC postseason standings, which was nice. And Sammy, like you said, the Chiefs now have the same record as the Dolphins. So I believe the percentage is at like 9%, so maybe they go
16.
undefeated.
They're not going to the playoffs. It's done. Here, listen, we're going to get to the big 3. I'm never going to root against my team because I can't do that. I'll be rooting for the Chiefs for every game. I can't root against my guys.
Right. 15%. It went up from where I was looking at earlier.
The best thing that could happen to this team is that they lose out. And honestly, if I was the coaching staff, if I was Reed and Veach, they won't do this because they want to sell tickets.
There's no shot they do this because how would Patrick Mahomes' legacy look if all of a sudden, he's in the AFC Championship at the very least?
This isn't about Patrick Mahomes.
This is about it's totally about him the rest of the way.
This is about the supporting
record.
Where's the pass rush besides Chris Jones? Where are the pass catch? This is not about Patrick Mahomes whatsoever. The Chiefs team around them, there has been holes, and it was last year they overachieved by getting to a Super Bowl by winning a bunch of one-score games. It came back to bite them. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm literally giving Mahomes a break. I'm playing Gardner Minshew when they get eliminated and going to get a real pass rusher in the top 10 picks.
I'll be honest, when I was thinking about today's show, this is kind of, again, if I'm being honest, this is kind of where I was hoping Sammy would go with this. The
it's
defending
insane,
of Patrick Mahomes and everything. And I'll tell you the reason why. So trying not to be petty or anything here. And obviously, Sammy, I sympathize with you. I've been through years like this. Hell, the majority of my life has been like this, watching the team that I root for. But in years past, as recently as 2 years ago, when the 49ers were getting a lot of acclaim and a lot of credit, it was like, yeah, but their quarterback. So right now you're saying if the quarterback's great and the team around him isn't good, then it doesn't matter that Patrick Mahomes isn't good enough to get them over the hedge.
But, hold on. Don't ever compare Brock Purdy to Patrick Mahomes.
Is this not fair?
No, it isn't fair
because the rest of the team's fault.
Because Patrick Mahomes has actually proven it on the biggest stage.
6-7,
whereas
Sammy.
Brock Purdy,
6-7.
the Niners have won in spite of Brock Purdy. Don't ever compare Brock Purdy to Patrick Mahomes ever again.
This is the tense moment, but the argument I just made is completely
it's
solid,
not. It's not.
There's no way around.
It's not. It's not fair at all.
They're 6-7 right
Did you
now.
watch the game last night?
So yeah, of course I did.
Okay.
Watch every second. Of
Okay.
it.
Then tell me right now. Look me in the face that Patrick Mahomes is the reason they lost that game.
That one interception he threw was pretty bad.
Okay, so you're not going to say that the 8 drops from the receivers
Of course,
are
they
the
were
problem?
bad, Sammy. Of course, Travis Kelce is a detriment to the team right now. He's taking up way too much salary cap and he's giving nothing back to the organization. Rashee Rice has been fantastic this year. Those 2 drops on 4th down, I would put them
He
squarely.
did it in the
him.
Cowboy game too.
So I understand where you're at, but I'm just
This is
saying.
not. First off, the amount of ability, the amount of leeway you give Josh Allen, that the fact of that, he tried. The offense was good. He had the lead when they left the field. For you to turn around and say that about a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time, never been worse than the AFC title game because he has 1 year. Brady and the Patriots went through down years. Kobe and Shaq.
When Brady had a torn ACL.
No, in the middle of his career, they didn't win. That is an asinine take.
Shaddai Sanders, that's good. That's a good name for him. Best rookie performance of the season. Shador looked great in a loss.
You don't get to switch on Shador. I told you Shador was going to be nice.
I said he looked great. The 858. The best game of the weekend was Saints Bucks, but y'all ain't ready for that. No, the best game of the weekend was Bills Bengals. Saints Bucks was a good game. Bills Bengals was an unreal football game. Back and forth chaos. And then 619 Sammy Rock Chalk Jayhawk FMU.
Oh yeah,
from SoCal Jayhawk.
KU looked good yesterday, beat Missouri.
All right,
shout out to you, SoCal Jayhawk.
Sammy, you ready for the big three?
Yeah,
little Mosh. We get it.
Let's do it.
It happens. Go ahead, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers. It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All I'm saying is we got two teams we're talking about here, both with extremely injured rosters. One of them set up with a 90% chance to get into the postseason and a 9-4 record.
Well, first off, the one nice thing that now, because my team's out, is that I
get
to
start rooting for the Cowboys.
No, I get to sit here
the Browns
and just wait for Brock Purdy to suck in a big game. And
actually, aren't you going to the Chargers game tonight? Maybe you start rooting for the Chargers.
Penance is coming. I just want you to know, what day is it today? Is it December 8th? December 8th. It's coming. Winter is coming
tonight, right?
Winter is coming.
All right, you're heading up to SoFi.
I am going to SoFi tonight
for Monday Night Football. That's a good game. Chargers Eagles.
Yeah,
both
a lot on the line in that game.
Postseason, both of them. Maybe you could just jump on with one of them.
Oh God, no. But to all my Eagles fans, fly Eagles, fly tonight. Let's go to another game in the NFL. Ravens Steelers, big matchup, trying to win the AFC North. So the hot thing today is Isaiah Likely had a touchdown. Okay, he got 1-2 steps in. They say he did not make a move on the ball in the end zone. I wish we could show the clip right now, but if you can't, look up the clip if you didn't watch the game.
Everyone's seen it. He catches it with two hands. He takes
2 steps.
2 full steps, is about to get the third foot down.
And they call it back. The Steelers end up winning. Did the Ravens get screwed over or did they lose the game? Did the Steelers earn the win?
Two things can be true at the same time. I do think the Ravens got screwed, but teams get screwed each and every week. The referees aren't perfect either, blah, 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 blah. Here's what I'll say about that one specific play, because that's where the spotlight is. The very next play, Mark Andrews for sure got held on a crossing route and also would have had a touchdown, but they missed the pass interference. So refs were bad. That's nothing new, right? Well, let's take a look at the NFL, because obviously that Isaiah Likely touchdown ended up going to the replay review and it got called back. That means somewhere in the NFL headquarters, they are looking at that catch from Isaiah Likely, which was a touchdown. We watch football every week. We know what it looks like when we see it.
Clearly.
And they're saying that's less of a touchdown than when a running back who is sprinting down the field just reaches the ball over the goal line and it gets smacked out of his hand. So that's more of a touchdown than what Isaiah Likely did? Because if we're being honest and looking with our eyes, it should be flip-flopped. I'd say a fumble when the ball, just the tip of the ball goes over the goal line but gets fumbled, that is less of a touchdown to me than what Isaiah Likely did.
Yeah. I actually do feel bad for Ravens fans. Now, I want to give the Steelers their props because
look, with a game on the line, was it TJ who had the sack? The very last one, he tripped up Lamar.
Was it Watt or Heisman? I can't
remember, but it was somebody tripped him up. It was one of the better defensive plays of the season.
And I got to give Rodgers some love, because Rodgers, you saw him run a little bit, had his first rushing touchdown in years. Metcalf had an unbelievable game. You still worry about the Steelers a little bit in terms of not having a number 2, but the Steelers put together a good game plan. So I want to give the Steelers credit because that was impressive. They kind of looked lost the last month and a half. Now, I do feel bad for Ravens fans. Like if I'm a Ravens fan today, I'm going, that's absurd. That was a catch. And you talk about a game, to your point, there's calls every week. You could talk about a gazillion different games this season.
If you have 2 feet down in the end zone with complete control of the football, it's a dead ball.
I mean, it's insane that in that game, you talk about the most playoff odds of anyone, because both those teams are trying to just get in. Like Packers and Bears, great game, but both teams are probably going to be in the postseason. I guess we'll see. Bears went to the 7th seed, but these two teams are literally needed to win this game. I do feel bad for Ravens fans because I do think they kind of got screwed in this game. And I think the Ravens, despite Lamar's poor play recently, has a much higher ceiling in the postseason than a Pittsburgh would. So
now they're gonna have to jump over the Texans, who are 2 games ahead of them at 8-5. I guess they could still win the division, but that becomes trickier because now the tiebreaker lies with Pittsburgh.
Let's go to that Packers.
Where'd our music go, Sammy?
What's up?
Where'd
Our music went away. Oh no. I'm getting texted, by the way, from Charger fans who I'm going to the game with tonight that they're not happy that I said I'm rooting for the Eagles. But
I'm rooting for the Chargers tonight.
He knows this,
which feels a little gross, but
I can't believe you'd say that on San Diego radio.
No, I mean it is what it is, man. Chargers are AFC, Eagles are NFC. Eagles.
Okay, so Packers beat Bears in a thriller. Great game, 20-21. Caleb does throw the late interception to seal it. What is the ceiling, though, for both teams in the playoffs in your estimation as of right now?
All right, all of a sudden, I know the Packers have been kind of easy to poke fun at this year because they look amazing one week and terrible the next. Well, they're starting to stack some really good weeks on each other, and Jordan Love is looking more and more confident. That was a very impressive game for both quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is getting clowned because of the last interception. He played well the entire game. I look at Green Bay, the ceiling, they could absolutely go to a Super Bowl in the NFC this year. They could. Because they are that talented, but I don't trust Jordan Love to make huge plays in the fourth quarter of a postseason game. The Bears, I feel like we've seen their ceiling. Their ceiling was getting to the top of the NFC for a week in the NFC this year, and that's great. For 2025, if that's your ceiling, great. Next year, you expect more out of the Bears. Right now, we've seen their ceiling of the season. They're going to get into the postseason. They may win a game in the postseason, but I'm not seeing them advance past that.
I got to show the Packers a little love because I've been down on the Packers. I've really not thought that this receiving core was going to be good enough to get them to a Super Bowl. The jury's still out. We'll see. But if
Watson's healthy and he's running down the field like he was on Sunday,
and home field advantage for them is a really big deal. So I'm going to give them props. The Packers could be interesting, but the Bears, I do think if there's ever a good loss in the NFL. I think because the first half you're going, it's 14-3. Caleb can't complete a pass. There were a few drops there. You're going, are they getting found out? The way they did fight back in the second half, it was a close game. The Packers should win in Lambeau. They're going to play in 2 weeks in Chicago. So if Chicago's for real, let's see if Chicago can get them with some get back home. Jordan Love made big plays. I thought Caleb, take away the interception down the stretch. The second half played much better football. Not having Rome Odunze there, that was certainly a big factor in that. Luther Burden stepped up a little bit, but I think both teams do have a high ceiling. Packers definitely higher than the Bears. Packers could be a Super Bowl team. I'm not picking them yet. I think the Bears really are a year away, but I do think the Bears could win a playoff team. And I'm not sure if I was an NFC team at the top, if the Bears are a wild card, I'm not sure I would want to see the Bears in a one-game scenario.
Oh, absolutely not. The way they can run the ball, DeAndre Swift looked like he's got new life breathed into him. And if we're being completely honest, how many names are going before Manungai in just an all running back draft?
He's fantastic. And Swift's the number 2. Like, Swift was a superstar for Philly when he played there.
Yeah, but it's been like a couple years of where'd DeAndre Swift go, and now all of a sudden he looks like he's just been revitalized. It's been fun. The Bears are a fun team to watch right now. I'm excited to see what their future is. But seriously, if you were doing a running backs only draft, Manungai's name would come up pretty quickly. All right, Big 3, number 3, we're going to the College Bowl game situation. We got a lot of juice on this. Let's get into it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Join San Diego Sports 760, ESET, SeaWorld, Cable Pipe and Leak Detection, and the Crowley Car Company to support Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season. Tomorrow and Wednesday, you're going to hear stories of hope and healing all day long from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon. So be ready tomorrow. There's going to be some tears. It's going to be good stuff, man. But it's all supporting Rady Children's Hospital, which the common sentiment is you hope you never need them, but you sure are glad they're there if you do need them. And so get ready for tomorrow. In fact, you could start it off by listening to 101.5 KGB tomorrow morning. Big Gertz, TD, and Fletch. We're doing a special 6-hour show for the Rady Children's Give-a-thon tomorrow morning. And then I'll be over here from noon to 2, followed by John and Jim, of course. All right, Sammy, we were going to talk some college football bowl games here. That has been thrown out the window because the YouTube comments in the text line are so good. Well, we'll start with one that's hating on me. So that'll soften the blow a little bit.
Let's read it.
858 Fletch asking, how does this affect Mahomes' legacy is one of the dumbest questions you can ask. 3-time Super Bowl champ, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time league MVP.
Thank you, 858.
I was more asking, like, if Patrick Mahomes all of a sudden has a random season where, like Sammy said, they lose the next 4 and he has a 6-win year, that's going to raise some eyebrows. Okay, but he's been playing all season.
What in terms of what? In terms of that he's not a good quarterback?
What the hell happened in 2025?
But, okay, so by that rationale, though, if we're going to go by that, if Mahomes having one bad season, so we look back on the Brady dynasty in the middle years when he didn't win Super Bowls for 5-6 seasons, or what about Josh Allen? What about Lamar Jackson? What about any of these quarterbacks who have never won before, but Mahomes has one bad season, and actually the team has a bad season?
You're making a lot of good points, Sammy, but we got a lot of text to get to here.
Thank you, 858.
408. Sammy, stop being so salty. Chiefs suck, and that's that. It's okay. Just hang in there, big guy. Let's see. On YouTube, there was a ton of great comments. We'll start at the top. SD Tyler, sorry, Sammy. Crying face emoji.
Tyler, my guy.
FedEx Trey, poor Sammy, but honestly, it's a better position to be in than the Steelers. About time y'all missed the tournament. It'll be better for Patrick Mahomes in the long run.
It makes me sick. I will never root for my guys to lose, but the best thing that could happen to the Chiefs is they lose the next 4 games.
Where would you go with the draft?
Oh, pass rush. You have to get an edge rusher. Chris Jones is by himself.
How about our guy CJ, big voice guy? You hear him every day. CJ, who is a diehard Miami Dolphins fan
and Miami Hurricanes fan.
Sammy, right before we got on air today, said, "I can't believe it. We have the same record as the effing Dolphins." That was actually his final thought before we got into the update. CJ says the disrespect is just overwhelming. Hashtag fins up.
Fins up.
Yeah, come on, dude. You're comparing you guys to the Dolphins as if that's a bad thing.
We're the same record. Like, how sad is that?
FedEx Trey says, hey, Fletch, NFC North versus NFC West for the wild card should be fun for the month. Yeah, dude, that's going to be intense.
Don't let the Bears win that game.
Dude, Bears, Niners, oh my God.
Bro, I got boys who are Bears fans right now that are texting me that are saying you're being out of pocket for your Purdy talk.
Sammy, how about this? Casey, I believe this is Casey from Society. Great beer, the pupil, but Sammy. Casey says this, Sammy, sorry about my Eagles beginning the end of the dynasty. Oh. The Pretzels and Pints Philly crew will be tailgating tonight in the lot. I got an extra jersey for you and a pair of open arms.
For Casey, bro.
You could go be an Eagles fan.
First off, Casey, much love. Maybe I'll see you in the parking lot. I will never put that disgusting color on my body. That won't happen.
You don't want to wear some mean green?
No. That will never ever happen.
You can practice
but Casey,
you know how to spell Eagles? EAGLES. Eagles.
It's like a toilet bowl tonight. It's like you wish both could lose, but unfortunately someone has to win. Casey, though, I will tell you this: I am pulling for your Birds tonight. I guess I have too many Charger fans that are friends that are just talking out of pocket right now. I need them to get humbled. I'm sorry if you're a Charger fan listening to this right now.
Let's see. Niners Bears play each other on December 28th here, and FedEx Trey wants a burrito bet with me.
FedEx Trey, I'm with you. We're on C Money's side, Caleb.
Looks like I could eat 2 burritos, so we could make that happen. Jamar says my Steelers are back for another non-losing season and first round playoff exit. Woohoo. Jamar, I feel for Steelers fans. I really do. One of my best friends of my entire life, Jared, he is the biggest Steelers fan you'll ever meet in your life. And watching him suffer through the last few years has been tough. He's on the Fire Tomlin train finally. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. College bowl games. This is fascinating, man. So the Aztecs get their bowl assignment, right? New Mexico Bowl. It's a good bowl game. It's a good time slot. There's going to be lots of eyes on that one. But around the country, there are problems. There are problems created by one school. And the butterfly effect of one school making one decision has now impacted the entire college bowl landscape. Let's talk about it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Taco Bell. Eagles Chargers, really fun Monday Night Football matchup. Both teams 8-4. That game will be at 5:15. Herbert is expected to play tonight after suffering a hand injury last week against the Chargers. He did come back in and finish the game though. Philly is a 2.5-point favorite with the point total set at 41.5. Lakers get a big victory over the 76ers last night, 112-108. LeBron had a big night, scoring in the high 20s. The Lakers will be back for the NBA Cup quarterfinals against the San Antonio Spurs. The Lakers are 4.5-point favorites in that one. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings Box give you a decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube here. You can follow us there at San Diego Sports 760. Our buddy John is saying, I know how Fletch feels about the Eagles, and I am most certainly in agreement, but my team is always whoever is facing the LA Chokers. With that being said, go Birds. He also says, let the Chiefs tank, Sammy. You know what's good. Look, it is literally for me tonight, AFC versus NFC. I'm always going to be rooting for the AFC team. Take everything else out of the discussion.
Real quick, we want to get to college football, but that's the interesting thing you just said. Because I don't have that. Like, if the Broncos are playing in the Super Bowl, I will be rooting so hard for whoever they are playing on the NFC side.
Sure. I'm rooting for the AFC team.
Oh, okay. Duh, that makes sense. I was about to say,
like for the NFC team to lose, to drop their playoff position potentially and improve my team's playoff position.
I know people root for teams in their own conference, like in college football. Like, that's not me. Like, I'm like, I hope they lose.
Oh no, I've watched the Seahawks play in Super Bowls and I root against them no matter who they're playing against.
Right. You're like, I can't root for that.
I cannot do it. All right, college football. Now the drama got kicked off when the College Football Playoff Committee decided that Miami should be in over Notre Dame. And Sammy, correct any of this if this is wrong. I'm pretty sure I have it right. Notre Dame beat Miami early in the season.
No, Miami beat Notre Dame.
And that is the rationale that the College Football Playoff Committee is using to bump Miami in over Notre Dame, even though Notre Dame has been better the rest of the year than Miami has been.
Won 10 consecutive games end the year.
So there's a gripe there. And I think it's a fair gripe for Notre Dame. However, Notre Dame, instead of saying, we get it, they beat us early in the season, maybe they get the edge up. Whatever bowl game we get would be great. No. Instead of doing that, Notre Dame went out and said, screw this. We're not playing in any bowl games. You kept us out of the college football playoff. You're not using our brand, our fan base to make money for whatever your bowl game is. And I can certainly understand that point of view from Notre Dame. I get it. Look, if you want to be salty, I understand it. This would kind of be like the Kansas City Chiefs missing out on the playoffs, but the NFL saying, hey, we got an opportunity for you to go make this city some money by going and playing an additional game, and the Chiefs saying, screw you. I can understand it. However, what I will say is the ramifications go far beyond what Notre Dame just did, because in every city across America that hosts a bowl game, there is something called economic tourist impact that comes in with these bowl games. For example, San Diego, the Holiday Bowl is one of the biggest economic driving forces of our city every single year. It brings in millions of dollars to our hotels, to our bars, to our restaurants, to our nightlife, to everything, because like for this year, you're getting a bunch of Southern Methodists and a bunch of Arizona fans in for the Holiday Bowl, which is going to be coming up on January 2nd this year. So buy tickets at holidaybowl.com. We actually have an interview coming up all about it, but that is part of what goes into it. So you're hoping that by adding these teams in, you're getting a bunch of an influx from people from Texas to people from Arizona to come watch the game in your city. That's kind of the point of bowl games, which is why Boise will say, I never want to play in the Boise Bowl because I want economic tourists to come in and spend their money. So what Notre Dame effectively did yesterday was pause 7 or 8 different cities for about 4 hours. They completely paused them because they thought there's a chance that they could get the Fighting Irish to come in, who have a fan base who travels extremely well, who there are dollar signs in these people's eyes because they're thinking Notre Dame might come play in their bowl game. And that's a little unfair because now you're no longer just messing with college football and the NCAA. No, you're saying to a city X out there who could have potentially had you coming in to be one of the bowl games to just wait to see what we decide to do before you go out, and now you're behind the 8 ball. You might not be able to get the other teams you wanted in. So what Notre Dame did, I can understand, but it is a little effed up.
And Notre Dame has sway because Notre Dame is one of the biggest. They might have the biggest fan base in all of college football,
nationwide too.
You could go to any city in America. You go to a bar. I guarantee you, at some point, you will see a Notre Dame hat or something because it's such a big brand. bowl games are tricky because let's look at Notre Dame's case. Now, Notre Dame, so starting with the selection committee, I think the committee messed up, but not for the reason everyone thinks they messed up. Miami should have been in over them. Like, they beat them head to head. And I don't want to hear about this. Well, it was the first week of the season. Well, then, so what's the point of scheduling games that matter against
right? Otherwise, head to head doesn't matter.
Right. They have the same record. Notre Dame's best win was USC. This goes back to all that whole drama of USC being like, hey, we have to play a tough Big Ten schedule. They have to play Ohio State and Indiana and Oregon next year, the 1, 2, and 5 seed. Why do we want to go play another game against Notre Dame? Whereas Notre Dame needs the USC game because they don't play in a conference, so they're not playing a conference championship. They need USC to be ranked to try to get a win and then use that to get in the playoff. Miami should have been in over them. I wouldn't drop Notre Dame out. I think it's ridiculous that Alabama gets to stay where they were. They got slaughtered in the SEC championship game, 28-7. Didn't score for the first 3 quarters. Quarterback Ty Simpson goes on the mic after it has the audacity to say they're the best offense in the country after putting 7 points. And I think it's BS that when we hear this, well, you shouldn't be punished. Kalen DeBoer, head coach of Alabama, was like, you shouldn't be punished for playing in a championship game. Well, let's go back. Let's go back to USC, Ohio State. USC plays Utah in the Pac-12 championship a few years ago. Caleb Williams gets his ACL stepped on, up 14 points. They end up losing by 18 points in that one. Alabama lost by 21 in this one. Ohio State slides in because they were not in the Big Ten championship because it was Michigan and Iowa before they reseeded the brackets. So my biggest problem with the college football selection is the fact that Alabama was not penalized for completely putting on a no-show performance in the SEC title game. I do think Notre Dame and Miami should have been in. I like that Miami was there. But the problem, though, is that the selection committee, how does Miami and Notre Dame not play this week? You have Notre Dame above them last week, which I thought was wrong. I think you did too. I remember us talking about this. And then all of a sudden a week goes by and you go, hold on, let's just flip it. We all know there's no way that they're not putting their Alabama SEC darlings in the playoff. It's not going to happen. And then to the bowl impact, yeah, it's tough. I get from Notre Dame's perspective being like, hey, we think we should have been in the college football playoff. I don't want to go play in a bowl game. But Notre Dame gets the headlines. Kansas State is not accepting a bowl invite. Iowa State is not accepting a bowl invite. Iowa State, I get a little bit because their head coach, Matt Campbell, just left for Penn State. They don't even have a head coach, but it is tricky. It sucks. Personally in San Diego, the Holiday Bowl means a lot down here and people get excited for the game. And I think it's a fun matchup this year, but yeah, it is tricky. It's like, there's so many guys that aren't going to play because in other bowl games, because they're going to the NFL, but it's also a tricky thing to what you said. It is important for the tourism of those cities. It sucks to see bowl games.
Look, when I first moved to San Diego, I had 2 jobs. I was working at a restaurant also. Well, for bowl week, Utah was in town that year, my first year in San Diego. And when Utah came, it was like we had specials for Utah at our restaurant. Like it was, if you are from Utah and you're traveling in for the Holiday Bowl, you get $2 off this beer or whatever. So it's like that kind of stuff happens all over the country. And for Notre Dame not to do it, like that's who you're impacting, which is kind of a SE thing for whatever city they would have been in.
And to Notre Dame's end, like
Notre Dame doesn't need any money, but you do get money to go play in bowl games.
This is why it's frustrating. So like today, Notre Dame's, the AD is bashing. They have a kind of a relationship with the ACC that even though they're not in the ACC.
So the ACC has done irreparable damage.
It's like, guess what, Notre Dame, guess what?
Join the conference.
If you join the Big Ten, you still get to play USC. You're going to play Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, all the top teams, and this won't be an issue. So where you're not left out on Selection Sunday, I think Notre Dame should have been in. I think Notre Dame and Miami should have been. Alabama should have been out.
You think Notre Dame should have been over James Madison or Tulane because they both got in?
Okay, that's the other thing.
I had 2 Group of 5 teams. Look, there's no bigger proponent of the Group of 5 deserving a spot at the table than me. But both of them. Like, are you telling me that Tulane and James Madison are both better than Notre Dame?
Well, what sucks is that James Madison's playing Oregon, and let's all be real. They're going to get slaughtered by 50 because Oregon is they're just flat out better. And kudos to James Madison for the season they've had. It's a great story. And if they pull off the upset, which I don't think
Oregon's a 21-point favorite.
And then Tulane is going to go get smacked as well. So now you're looking at 2 games. You have Alabama, Oklahoma, which should be good. And I'm blanking on the other game right now. That's pretty tight. Yeah, Ole Miss and
Miami, Texas A&M is going to probably be a good game.
Yes, Miami, Texas A&M going to be a very good game. If those 2 games were on air last year, the first round of the college football playoff was a bit of a bummer because the games were so lopsided. Tulane and James Madison, I don't see putting up much of a fight, and it sucks that you have Notre Dame and Vanderbilt and Texas.
And imagine if it well, okay, so what? Notre Dame probably would have been the 11 and Tulane would have been the 12. So Notre Dame, Ole Miss.
Sign me up for that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Texas, by the way, in Texas or Vandy, one of the best offenses in the country, going to Oregon? That would be a fun game.
I would like to see Tulane beat Ole Miss, if I'm being completely honest.
Of course, I'm pulling for James Madison and Tulane.
But after watching how the lane look, it's not Ole Miss's fault, but there's like an opportunity there if you're a better to go on Tulane heavy. All right, we got to break. But yes. The last thing we'll say, how about that Big Ten championship game? You heard it here on San Diego
Sports
Sports 760. Indiana, Ohio State. The defense is bowed up big time. Indiana with the Jesus, man, the quarterback of the
Mendoza.
This is the second time he's done this. He did it at Cal, and now he's doing it here where he puts on a different persona, alter ego. I think he's making fun of himself a little bit, but it's hilarious.
Can you believe that that's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL
seriously
draft?
And probably the Heisman winner. Like, seriously. We'll ask Schaefer when he gets in who his Heisman pick was, but it's probably him.
It's got to be. I mean,
it's got to be.
It's not like Sayin had some big game. Half his yardage came on the Hail Mary. At the end of
Mendoza won the game. That was the Heisman game. Whoever won it was probably going to get it. But that was an excellent college football game. You heard it here on 760. Now Indiana's the 1 seed, so credit to them. Who'd have known? The basketball school.
Seriously, I mean, Indiana and
the Hoosiers.
Duke won the ACC. Like, what is going on? Like,
all right, we got long shots on the other side. Actually, long shots winner this weekend.
Yeah, it's a shame that I just don't get to enjoy it because whenever the Chiefs feel like they just screw up, then I hit a long shots winner.
Long shots winner, unless you took my pick that I threw in there at the end. I did say Terry McLaurin over on yards, and he did not get that. So if you included mine, you lost. If you went with Sammy's, you won. Congratulations.
I cashed over the weekend.
It's San Diego Sports 760. Long shots coming up next. Let's make some profit, baby. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Our buddy Tyler on YouTube saying Notre Dame pulled a Cartman and said, screw you guys. I'm going home.
That's pretty good Cartman, Ben.
Ma'am, cheesy poofs.
Damn, dude. I didn't know you could do Cartman like that.
That's like the only impression I can kind of do. You got to get real throaty with it. Trey, FedEx Trey says Notre Dame can cry me a river. Every other athletic program for them is in the ACC, but the football program. That's on the program. Just join a conference. I agree, man. It's weird that they're not. Trey also saying follow the money. ESPN plus SEC is profit for college football playoff. Very biased for Bama. We said this 3 weeks ago, didn't we, Sammy? No matter what happens, Alabama's going to make their way in. It's just the way it is. And unfortunately, college football doesn't even do that good a job of hiding it. It's just out there. John says, that's it. I'm boycotting the movie Rudy. Never again. Ooh, Sammy, do your best to remember this for Friday. Do your best to remember this for Friday. Steve Hartman in the movie Rudy. If you want to hear him go on just a legendary 5 minutes.
What? Because he thinks he didn't get the sack?
No, we should just ask him about the movie Rudy. And Steve will just go for 5 minutes. So if you're here right now, make sure you're back here at 1:30 on Friday so you can hear Steve Hartman talk about the movie Rudy.
Just a quick Fletch and I story. Fletch and I one time were with Rich, a bunch of people. We were drinking. It was downtown LA. It was for the Super Bowl, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're sitting
Irish pub getting fish tacos because that's what you do.
That's what you do. It was just us. It was like a DJ set. It was a great time. Anyway, Hartman's there, and as you can imagine,
I was about as drunk as I've ever seen Hartman too.
Steve is the same on air as he is off air. So he'll just be telling stories. People, once you're around, so you've heard these stories for a lot of the time. He's telling some story that no one cares about from the 70s. And then he happens to throw in and goes, oh, by the way, I'm in the new Laker Winning Time HBO show. So anyway, 1972, I was a young man. We go, wait, you're in the new Laker show, the HBO show. Yeah, whatever. And just keeps going. And then you get these random tidbits from Steve, like I'm assuming the Rudy story, where you're like, how, like he was on the Dennis Miller show 5 times back in the day.
Steve's lived like 5 or 6 lives that none of them are believable, but I've never once caught him in a lie. I don't think he knows how to lie. No. So it's just Steve.
Him fighting away out of a bar with Vince Neil. I mean, these are just all true stories.
Friday, text line, YouTube, Sammy, you all have to try to remind me to ask Steve about the movie Rudy.
We will remember.
Because it's legendary. It really is. All right, San Diego Sports 760. We do a little something called long shots at 12:45 every day. Well, it's 12:50, so we're right on time. Sammy, if you will, please smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Pay that man his money.
with long shots.
Now, no pressure or anything, Sammy, but this is your only long shots for the next 3 days.
The next 3 days.
Yeah, because we'll have the Rady Children's Give-a-thon the next couple of days.
No, we have Thursday as well.
So yeah, Thursday and Friday we'll be back to long shots. But
maybe, you know what? During the show, we might have to hit you guys with a quick little tweet. So because all my gambling addicts, they're not going to be able to just not fiend until Thursday. You know,
you could DM Sammy if you want to.
Hey, I got you locked. Hit me on Twitter or X, whatever the hell it's called.
All right, Sammy, where are we going?
Okay, so right now now this makes me a little nervous, but I actually have. I'm going to let Fletch get a veto on this one. I have a 4-leg same game parlay Monday Night Football. Okay. But I feel like my picks all kind of have a game script, a game flow. Tell me which one you don't like, Fletch, and you can veto. We're coming off a win over the weekend. Proud of that one. So
all right,
we're going
Simmy, let's do it.
We're going to do it. All right. Keenan Allen, more than 5.5 reception targets. This is directly related. Remember, Justin Herbert hurt his hand. Okay. Last week against the Raiders. He got hurt in the second quarter, came back in the game. But if you notice watching that game, he was not getting under center. Harbaugh was not putting him in there. He hasn't practiced last week. Justin Herbert, like obviously his hand, that's a massive issue. They didn't want him taking snaps. They haven't really been doing a tush push the second half of that game against the Raiders. Now, it wasn't super close, so they didn't have to. But that's something to watch about. Like they try to do the tush push, get under center. I don't think they're going to be doing that tonight. So, and with the ferocious Philly pass rush, which has been fantastic, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Carter is not there tonight, but still, they got a damn good pass rush there.
What's going on with him?
Yeah, he's hurt. He's hurt tonight.
The Jalen Carter thing's been weird all year, though.
It's funny. I feel like in a couple of years we're going to see a trade because I don't know if Philly's going to pay him his money.
Like Jalen Carter in game 1 of the season gets ejected immediately because he spits on Dak Prescott, and then it's been an odd season for him all year long.
And what's weird is if you're Jalen Carter and you're the Eagles, you're the next. Like Aaron Donald was the best interior pass rusher I've ever seen. Then you had Chris Jones, who's not Aaron Donald, but was a great interior pass rusher. Jalen Carter is the next guy.
He's that dude.
To be that, but he hasn't. He's set up on the field, just off the field. You're concerned. Anyway. Keenan Allen, more than 5.5 reception targets. Keenan Allen's who they go to in the short yardage game. This is not going to be a drop back, pass, let Herbert chuck it down the field kind of night because of the hand. This is a big game for the Chargers. Keenan Allen is usually the go-to guy. They're going to be keying on Ladd McConkey on the outside. There's going to be a lot of quick hitters, more than 5.5 receiving targets for Keenan Allen tonight. I think he actually has a pretty big game. Going back into the game script, Justin Herbert, less than 3.5 sacks taken. Now, I know you're going, no Jalen Carter, but that's not why I'm taking this pick. I don't think Harbaugh is going to put them in a spot to where he is dropping back, passing into one. Amarian Hampton is back, the rookie running back out of North Carolina. Kimani Vidal, I think, has not been given enough respect, what he's been able to do the last month and a half to 2 months. With Hampton out, I think we're going to see a heavy dose of the run game tonight from the Chargers, which is going to mean not a lot of opportunities to be passing. Less than 3.5 sacks taken for Justin Herbert. All right, Saquon Barkley, more than 72.5 rush yards. People might be nervous with this pick. Saquon has not had a good last couple games. He had 56 against Chicago, 22 against Dallas. The last time he hit his over was against Detroit with 83. But, Fletch, I don't know if you heard this, but the Philly locker room, this is a real story. Everyone listening, this is 100% real. I'm not making this up. They put a positivity bunny, which is an literal inflatable bunny rabbit. They put in
It's
the
like
locker.
the size of me.
Yes.
It's big.
They put it in the Philly locker room to get the, quote, vibes right. Not a joke, 100% real story. They asked Saquon Barkley about this, and maybe we'll get the sound for later. He was not too thrilled about the bunny being put in front of his locker room.
This tells me Jalen Hurts might be into furries. Or Nick Sirianni.
I think Nick Sirianni
Nick Sirianni
would be a
looks
much
like
more
a
logical choice to be into furries.
He looks like a dude who's into furries.
I don't feel like Jalen Hurts is too good looking to be,
Good looking people have weird kinks, Sammy. Not weird, sorry. We don't kink shame on this show.
Yeah, we don't shame. We are
shame. Sex positive here. That's what we are, Sammy. So if they want to have an inflatable bunny in their locker room, who are we to make fun of them?
I did not think furries were going to get brought up on the show today. I'm sorry if you're over the age of 30 don't know what that is. I recommend not going to look that up.
Everyone knows what furries are, Sammy.
Okay.
Everybody.
Before we get fired, more than 72.5 rush yards for Saquon Barkley. Going back to the bunny rabbit thing, Nick Sirianni is such an emotional coach. Whenever a player complains, look at A.J. Brown complains, Devontae Smith complains. If you look at the next week, they get them the ball. I think they're going to be leading throughout this game. Saquon Barkley, more than 72.5 rush yards. And this is the way to attack the Chargers defense. They're very good on the outside, have pretty good safety play. Up the middle is the way to go. And my last pick is Jalen Hurts to get a touchdown tonight. I mean, they're getting on the goal line. Chargers are pretty stout defense. Jalen Hurts, they're going to use this tush push. I think this is a heavy dose of the run game because I think Philly is leading by one score all night. So to recap, Jalen Hurts get a touchdown tonight. Saquon Barkley, more than 72.5 rush yards. Keenan Allen, more than 5.5 receiving targets. And Jay Herbo, less than 3.5 sacks taken with his girl, Madison Beer, in attendance.
No vetoes, full send for the furries. Let's get it on. I like the lineup. I really do.
Oh, no. Thank God we can't see. Our boss's office is right down here, but I can't see it because the door's closed.
Sammy, she's not listening.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, she's not, because she knows someone's going to bring up furries.
So that's the number one takeaway I have of the show today is who put the bunny up, Sirianni or Hurts?
And is it because of some weird depravity in their minds? And I think it might be.
I really don't think it's Jalen Hurts.
Probably not Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is too buttoned up.
Maybe Landon Dickerson. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what those offensive linemen are into.
The offensive linemen are into some weird stuff, dude.
Talk to Rich Umberger. He knows.
Oh, yeah. Rich. He'd be all about the bunny. Tell you that.
Cartwheels.
All right. Quick break here. We found out a lot here. We found out the Eagles locker room has a massive inflatable bunny. We found out.
How do you explain that to the team, by the way, in all seriousness?
Yeah, you're talking to a bunch of grown men who make millions of dollars to go be gladiators, and you're like, hey, inflatable bunny, let's cheer up, gang. Smiles.
Dude, Nick Sirianni has no clue what he is doing.
Let's turn that frown upside down. All right, hour 2 coming up next. We actually have a special guest joining us in studio in hour number 2. How about that? It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The support is furnished by Genuine Monday Night Football. Good one tonight. Philly on the road in LA, taking on the Chargers at both 8-4. Philly is currently a 2.5-point favorite with the point total set at 41.5. The game gets going at 5:15. It is confirmed by Adam Schefter. Running back Amarian Hampton, rookie running back, will be playing tonight, being activated off injured reserve, as well as Justin Herbert will be playing after suffering a hand injury last week against the Raiders. This report has been furnished by Genuine.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Sound off like you got a pair.
I like mine to stand stiff.
Hey, yo.
The NFL never lets us down.
Get to Jameer. Run it outside. Got a blocker. Down to the 10. To the 5. To the end zone. Wave to him. He's gone, baby. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Sanders backpedaling, looking left, pressure, throwing back corner. Fannin goes up high, and he brings it down. Touchdown!
The Raiders' fight for the number 1 pick continues.
First and goal at the 3. Puts the ball into the belly of Harvey. Into the hole. Across the line. Touchdown Broncos.
And a wild one in Buffalo.
Allen steps up in the pocket. 40, 30, down to the 20. Allen looking for the end zone, and he's in. Stroud, pocket collapsing, dumps it off to Woody, takes it across the 5, and in. Touchdown, Houston.
What the heck just happened?
Mahomes unloads downfield and tipped and intercepted.
The Aztecs are headed back to New Mexico for a bowl game, and the uproar about the college football playoff is just getting started. Plus,
Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, Ohio State, more than 75.5 receiving yards. Yeah! Rob Divashvili, more than 109.5 significant strikes against Peter Yan.
Yes.
Joe Burrow, more than 255.5 pass yards.
Oh, yes.
And Pat Mahomes, more than 22.5 rush yards.
Man, I'm tired of being right. I'm not wild. It's the one that says bad mom.
we're kicking off the week from the studios of San Diego Sports 760 in the Fletch Zone.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. We were basically all football in the first hour because there's a lot of football going on. NFL's in chaos. Sammy's Chiefs are done. The dynasty's crumbled. It's going to be a big rebuild for Kansas City, so we'll see how it goes.
I don't know if it's a big rebuild.
Oh, yeah, you got to start from scratch. You got to really just go back to the drawing
when you have
board.
the best quarterback in the game, you have to start from scratch.
Totally from scratch. We'll see what the Chiefs, if they can recover within the next 5 years.
They do need to retool. They need a draft pick. They need a pass rush. It's insane.
But kind of simmering on the back burner is an article that Dennis Lin put up earlier today where he was talking about the San Diego Padres. And now I'm going to balance this with two different news sources, all right? So Dennis Lin, I'll get to what he had to say, but just a little bit ago, Sammy, you sent me this tweet from Alden Gonzalez, who says Padres manager Craig Stammen said that they're going to keep Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon, and David Morgan all in the bullpen rather than converting them to starters. And the quote from Stammen is, "It's a risky proposition health-wise and performance-wise." So Alden Gonzalez presumes, as do the rest of us, that the Padres are very much in the market for starters, as in starting pitching. Because right now, Sammy, you have Joe Musgrove, you have Randy Vasquez, you have Nick Pivetta, and that's about it. So Yu Darvish is on the IL for the whole season, most likely. So Dennis Lin has this article that he last updated at 4:42 a.m. this morning. I saw it a little bit earlier, but it essentially is saying that the Padres have shown a willingness to entertain offers for Nick Pivetta.
What?
A deal involving the right-hander is not considered likely, but San Diego would require a steep return in exchange for losing Pivetta, but the team's options for rebalancing its payroll are limited. When you start to hear words like rebalancing its payroll and potentially losing your top end starting pitcher heading into next season, this is kind of what I was warning you about when we first saw the article that the Padres may be up for sale. What happens when you're selling something? Doesn't have to be a baseball team. It could be anything. If iHeartMedia was up for sale, I'd be pretty worried because the first thing you have to do is make your company seem as cheap as possible for whoever's coming in to buy it. I don't think it's unlikely that Nick Pivetta is gone. The reason why Nick Pivetta is going to make like $20 million next year. You need this payroll to be lean and mean. And for the Padres, that would make sense. If you can replace Nick Pivetta with a guy who's making $1 million a year and could still go out there and give you innings, then that's probably what you're going to do. But that's going to translate to more losses. I'm telling you, I got a bad feeling about the Padres even making the postseason next year if they move on from pieces like Nick Pivetta, because you're all of a sudden dampening your regular season capabilities, your regular season ceiling, which is where the Padres have made their hay the last few years.
Right. Well, if this is the direction
we're going in a
going,
bad direction, Sammy.
where they're going to try. First off, this is insane. Pavetta is the only guy that has shown consistent good performance. Musgrove, we're all excited to have back, but this guy is coming off of Tommy John. Like, you can't pitch him an inordinate amount of innings to get to the postseason. And if you trade Nick Pivetta, he's going to be your number one guy. You also have to work him slowly back into this thing. That would be a horrible decision. If the Padres are going to go down this road of getting rid of guys, getting rid of talented guys, then start at the top. I mean, like, I'm sorry. Like, let's go big or go home.
Number one tradable is Fernando at the top.
Right.
That's the only one who's actually tradable right now, if we're being honest.
I'm not saying to trade Fernando Tatis right now, but if you're going to nuke the team otherwise, take away Pivetta, take away like all your kind of fringe spots. They showed you last year
is being talked about, which I actually would kind of agree with trading Drake Cronenworth at this part.
Yeah, Cronenworth I would be fine with. I think it's also a contract where someone might take him on because he's not super highly paid. I just feel like if you're gonna strip down the roster for pieces in for the minor league system and to trade pieces, then actually do it. This team is not good enough to do a half rebuild. You either do a full rebuild or you keep trying to add to get there. I don't understand why Nick Pivetta, which is the ones I can't believe AJ Preller would be fine with this. AJ Preller saved the season last year by signing Gavin Sheets and Nick Pivetta. If they didn't have Nick Pivetta, they weren't making the playoffs.
Right.
Like they weren't even close to being a playoff team, and Nick Pivetta's not there.
It's a long offseason. Again, Dennis Lin did say this is considered unlikely, but they have shown a willingness to field offers. And Nick Pivetta, I think he's 32 years old. He's about to make $20 million coming off the best season of his career. You would think there is somebody out there who'd be willing to trade, but what would it be for?
What makes you nervous is that the Padres are throwing this out there because if you would trade Nick Pivetta after the season he just had, they either believe that he overachieved,
which he may have.
And if that's the case, the Padres,
history would tell you he did overachieve last year.
So what's going to happen there? So if Morgan and Miller and Morejon, all these guys are in the bullpen, which has just been confirmed by Alden Gonzalez. So you trade Nick Pivetta. Okay. What's the plan?
Joe Musgrove, Randy Vasquez.
Joe Musgrove coming off an injury and Randy Vasquez are going to get you.
I think the assumption is if you move on from Nick Pivetta, you're also getting a starting pitcher in return. But is that starting pitcher going to be able to give you 200 innings?
Right, or going to develop, like, unless you're going to go out and make a high price signing, which his team has not shown a willingness to do.
They're not going to. There's no shot. Right. No, this is all about, quote, rebalancing the payroll. That means you are getting leaner in the payroll, so the money you have to Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts, at this point, it's lost money. You're hoping to get the best out of those two guys, but you can't trade them. They're untradeable. They're bad contracts.
Right. No one wants Machado's contract.
The contract for Tatis is a good contract.
Right.
It's long-term. He's young. He does have a full no-trade clause. But that's the one that you could potentially move. You could also, of course, move the Jackson Merrill one, but why would you? You're paying him pennies.
Right, that would
compared
be,
to what he's worth.
And by the way, if you were going to move Jackson Merrill, you would wait till his value was high. His value is nowhere close to what it was a year ago.
There is zero reason to even open your mouth about a Jackson Merrill trade.
That would be dumb.
Because he's cheap. That's what you need. You need more Jackson Merrills. But who's going to agree to that kind of contract? It's crazy. So for the Padres, the Nick Pivetta thing actually makes a little bit of sense. I think it's a disaster, but what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be competitive this year, or are you trying to sell the team?
Right,
if you're trying to sell the team, you move on from
That's
Nick
the
Pivetta.
problem. They speak out of both sides of their mouth. They talk about how you want to beat the Dodgers and you want to go in a World Series, which is what the entire city wants and wants to see. But then you see actions in place of the last couple seasons of not spending money, just stripping it down. It's honestly amazing the Padres have had the success they've had with the lack of, ever since the late great Peter Seidler passed, the lack of additions and lack of spending and funding going into this team. It's on the Stars to produce, but I think stripping down Nick Pivetta that's a terrible, terrible solution.
Don't worry. We're about to get the announcement. Beach towel giveaway.
Hey, guess what? Bobblehead.
1984 bobblehead?
The hat.
You kidding me right, Meow?
By the way, how annoying is that real quick? Roki Sasaki signs with the Dodgers right up north. Everyone's pissed off in this town. Oh, hey, guess what? We sold out season tickets. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's the PR press release you have?
No, that's going to happen. Don't worry about it. If they trade Nick Pivetta, we'll get some big announcement right afterwards. All right. I love our texter, Brian, from the 619. He comes in with really thoughtful additions to the show all the time. Brian, you do such a good job with these texts. From the 619. No one has a problem being a furry until they're at an urgent care explaining an embarrassing allergic reaction south of the equator to a nurse who resembles their grandma.
Oh, no.
Love the show. From Brian.
This is not Kogo.
Of course it's not Kogo. Kogo would never read that text. Sammy? This is the Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports
I want to
760.
make it very clear that Sammy Long did not read that text.
Brian, that's an excellent text. Thank you for joining the show. We love having you part of our family. Sammy, let's smash the big three. Go ahead, hit it.
No.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If that text is the reason I get fired, Sammy, they've missed 10 different times where they could have fired me. If that's the one that gets me,
I love that people that just tuned in at hour 2 and have no idea the context of why that text got sent in.
Context. Philadelphia, the Eagles, they put up a positive bunny or something.
It's literally an inflatable positive bunny.
A positivity bunny. And so I think that there's a furry in the Philadelphia Eagles organization, and Brian was just adding some further context. So thank you, Brian.
Wow.
That's what this is about. It's
Wow,
the rat-tat-tat.
wow. Let's start with the positivity bunny, actually.
Okay.
So the positivity bunny got put in for the Eagles. This is a real thing. It's a real story. It is an inflatable bunny that got put. No one knows who, by the way. It's in the Philly locker room. It's a mystery. To change the vibes of the Eagles. And Saquon Barkley was asked about it. He was not seemed too thrilled. He seemed kind of pissed off. Was actually in front of his locker room. But in kind of a generic question, like, where are the Eagles in the NFC? Because we got a good text last week from, I believe it was SoCal Jayhawk, talking about the Chiefs and the Eagles probably have the most identity concerns in the entire league in terms of, like, they don't know who they are. The Chiefs are done. They're not going to be making the playoffs. And the Eagles feel like they're kind of falling apart. Is this the stretch where they lost 7 straight games, or do you think the Eagles can turn this thing around and be a player in the NFC?
Well, the Eagles have just the ultimate benefit of playing in the NFC East, and the Commanders have not had the season that we thought they were going to have. They're 3-10. The Giants are fun, but they have 2 wins on the year. The Giants aren't going to do anything. And then the Cowboys, it was a fun win over the Chiefs, but they're 6-1. They're not going to make the postseason. So the Eagles, I want to say they have like a 99% chance to make the playoffs, even if they lose this game. Like, they're going to be there because they're going to be a 1 seed in their division. So we know what they are. They're a playoff team. But when we look at the Eagles, does that look like a team that can make serious noise in the postseason?
No, if you take away the brand of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year, you would not look at them as a Super Bowl winning team.
And I would even say the brand as well as the roster. Like, it's a damn good roster they have in Philly, but the cohesion has not been there this year. So I think the text that we got a week ago was perfect. The Eagles right now are a playoff team without an identity. And what does that mean to me? That means they're a playoff team that's probably going to get in and lose their first game. They still have time to turn that around. That roster is special enough to where if they rip off a really good end of the season, hell, they may be Super Bowl favorites by the time we get to the postseason.
I'm not going to say they're going to lose the first game. I think they are clearly behind the Rams. And yes, I know they beat the Rams earlier this year. The Rams should have won that game. It was on the block kick. The Rams outplayed them. I think the Rams have shown throughout the season they have been the better team. Philly, it's odd. It's a lot like the Chiefs. Like, you look at the roster, you go, what's wrong? Why are they not dominating? And they aren't. Now, the Eagles have been better than the Chiefs this year, but it does seem like whether it's top down, whether it's Nick Sirianni's the problem, whether it's I don't think it's Jalen Hurts. I think it's Jalen Hurts has to deal with a lot from his star receivers.
Super Bowl hangover is also a real thing.
Is a real thing.
And I think the Eagles are in it.
I think based on their matchup, they could beat a lot of teams. I think they're not beating the Rams. I think if the Lions get in, that would be a really bad first round matchup. They basically don't want to play a team that scores well. They want to play a team that has a really good defense, because the Eagles defensively can match up with just about anyone in the NFL.
But did the Bears point out the fatal flaw? If you just run it at them hard enough, they'll break down. Like, I think we learned a lot tonight because the Chargers have a pretty good run game.
Yeah.
Are they going to try to take advantage of it the same way the Bears did?
Let's go to one of the most talked about worst teams in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. Now, this game kind of got buried because
they lost to the Titans.
But
I get it. Shador played really well.
No, hold on. Kevin Stefanski. So if you watch the game, Shador throws the touchdown to get within 2 points. He takes Shador Sanders out after having over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, out for the 2-point conversion to run a trick play that, if you watch it, it failed miserably. What was the reaction to this? What was your reaction to Shador? Do you think he's going to be the starting quarterback moving forward? Have you liked what you have seen in 3 starts?
I think they said it earlier today that he will be QB1 the rest of the way, and he's earned it. He's played really, really well. Look, I will give Shador Sanders all the credit in the world. He's played better than I thought he would. The first thing I'll say is, he beat the Raiders.
Beat the Raiders.
Congratulations.
On the road. On the road.
You beat the Raiders. Raiders might be the worst team in the NFL this year. and then you lose to the Titans, who might be the other worst team in the NFL this year. So I'm giving him his credit. He's played really well, but I'm not going to give him all the credit in the world because look at who you're playing against. Now, what I will say for Shedeur Sanders, the fact that he wasn't on the field in that moment says a lot about what Cleveland thinks about Shedeur Sanders, because he played excellent yesterday, and I do mean excellent, in all the momentum in the world. He throws the touchdown pass to get them within 2, and then you leave your quarterback out. What does that tell you about how Kevin Stefanski thinks about Shedeur Sanders?
I'll tell you what it thinks. It's the ownership calling down saying, we want you to lose the game. We want you, like, not that they actually called down and said lose the game.
The play design was god-awful.
But if you're the Browns, you have no incentive to win. Like, you're playing Tennessee. The best, if I'm Cleveland, if I'm a Cleveland Brown fan, I'm going, beautiful. You lost the game.
Give Tennessee a win, bump them up.
And if you, in terms of the Shedeur starting the rest of the year, Shedeur has upside to him. He's been up and down. He's played 3 games, didn't look very good against the Niners, the best defense he's played. Look good against the Titans, who have a decent defense. To be fair, the Titans defense is not awful. Beat the Raiders, who are terrible. You do see flashes there. Like, this is why, if I'm a Browns fan, I don't know why he wasn't starting from the get-go. Joe Flacco did nothing for you. You were not a playoff team. You were never going to be a playoff team. So you wasted 4 to 6 games of your season with Joe Flacco. Then you let Dylan Gabriel go, who we all know does not have upside. He had a stacked roster at Oregon and couldn't go win a championship with them. And now you're going to see Shedeur in a limited thing for about, 6 games here in total if he stays healthy. In all offseason, you're going to be having the same question. Is Shedeur the franchise guy? Are you going to take a quarterback? Is there a guy outside of Fernando Mendoza in this draft that you look at and go, hey, he's our franchise guy? I think in the first 3 games, I give Shedeur a solid B to B+. He's shown some ability. I'm curious how he plays down the stretch here of the final month of the season for Cleveland.
All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, the Colts were the darling of the NFL to begin this season. Now they don't have a quarterback, and we got news about their backup quarterback. So let's talk about it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We got a big day coming up tomorrow and Wednesday this week. It's the iHeartRadio Children's Give-a-thon. We'll let you know all the information on how to donate and everything over the next couple of days. But these are two of the most important days of the year, every single year for us here at San Diego Sports 760 and our entire cluster. So if I was to make a recommendation for you, I would say wake up tomorrow morning with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch over on 101.5 KGB, and then switch over here. We're actually doing a 6-hour show tomorrow from 6 a.m. to noon, and then I'm immediately jumping over here from noon to 2 with Sammy Long. We're going to make some money over the next couple of days.
Hell
so make
yeah,
sure you're
we
listening, huh?
Make some money for the, seriously, 2 very powerful days, and hearing their stories really puts things in perspective.
They're great days. They're important days. So make sure you're tuning in tomorrow. Can't wait for it. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Let's talk about these Indianapolis Colts for a second here, because Sammy, earlier today, we both said we feel bad for Ravens fans. This year just has not gone well for them. It was injuries like crazy, and then boom, all of a sudden your Ravens are back up. They got a good shot to make the postseason. And then yesterday's game to the Steelers, it felt like that make it or break it game for the Ravens and for the Steelers. And it comes down to a play where Lamar Jackson makes the play, man. He hits Isaiah Likely in the end zone for what looked to everybody to be a surefire touchdown, catches the ball, gets 2 feet down. You think play's over? Well, not according to the NFL Replay Center. It gets taken off the board. That's the Ravens side of things. How about the Colts side of things?
Brutal, man.
The Colts, what are we going on 10 years now? 10 years ago? Maybe a little less than that. 8 years ago? I think 8 years ago. 8 years ago, they finally get the offensive line. And it's like everything that everyone has said about Andrew Luck's career is if he had an offensive line, this would happen for the Colts. They finally build it up. Andrew Luck retires. And then you go through this kind of carousel of Phillip Rivers, of Carson Wentz, of Gardner Minshew, of a bunch of different quarterbacks looking for your guy. You don't have your guy. Okay, you draft Anthony Richardson. Hey, that freshman rookie season for Anthony Richardson, he showed some real promise. You're like, oh, maybe this is the guy for the future of the Indianapolis Colts. Year 2 comes around, massive disappointment, underperforms expectations, calls himself out of a game at one point. Do you remember that last year, Sammy?
You know, they're not activating him despite the fact that Jones is injured and Riley Leonard.
So this year, Anthony Richardson coming into the year, it's a quarterback battle, him and Daniel Jones. And then bizarrely, at the end of the preseason, Daniel Jones wins the job. And in the same week, Anthony Richardson has a weird pre-game stretching band snap and fracture something on his face. We haven't seen or heard from him since. And the Colts have said they will not activate him. But guess what? Daniel Jones, who's been playing on a broken leg, pops his Achilles yesterday. And so the Colts season, they just fell out of the postseason race, most likely. And then their backup quarterback, Riley Leonard, who's been the backup all year long, has a knee injury, may or may not be ready to go for next week's game. So if we want a team to feel bad for, how about the Indianapolis Colts, who actually seem to have done everything right leading up to this point?
It's impressive that the Colts have had the roster they've had, despite the fact that
terrible luck.
Andrew Luck retires. Then you draft Anthony Richardson. That has not worked out. I think you can call him a bust at this point because he lost his job, hasn't been starting. And now they're really telling you he sucks because they're not even going to activate him when this is the opportunity. This is like, if Anthony Richardson was going to save his career,
get him out there, get some trade value.
They still can make the playoffs. Like they can make the playoffs. They just won some games.
They can still win their division.
You do the Colts. This is the weird spot though. Like you look at Pittsburgh, Jamar said it earlier on our stream, and the Colts and a lot of these teams that don't have a quarterback, like the Ravens, Chiefs, and Bengals. Everyone expects they'll be back in the mix next year because they have great quarterbacks and they're going to be there. So it's more retooling the rest of the roster. Your teams like Pittsburgh, your teams like the Colts, your teams like that are these fringe teams that don't have a quarterback. It's weird because they win enough games to where you're not necessarily picking at the impact spot of the draft, but then you're also not winning Super Bowls. You're not going far in the playoffs. So it's a tricky situation. Like the Colts kind of have the worst thing right now is that they're probably going to be looking for a quarterback next year. I think Daniel Jones, if we take aside the fact that it's sad that he got hurt, the last month has kind of gotten exposed, has looked a little bit more like Daniel Jones. That Chiefs game, he didn't look great. He didn't look great against the Jags until he got hurt. Like there's Daniel Jones, I don't believe is a franchise quarterback. It's crazy how, and then the Colts they have too good of a roster, even if you run it back next year, where they're not going to probably be bottoming out. Like they're not going to be picking in the top 5 because they just have enough talent. It is amazing how life comes at you fast in the NFL. You go from 5-0, 6-0 to now they're 8-4 and probably not making the playoffs because of injuries. It's just it's the brutal nature of the NFL.
Yeah, they're 8-5. They're have the same record as the Texans, but the Texans have the tiebreaker over them, and then they're one game back of the Jags, who are first place in the division. Like the Colts, it's still there if you want it, and you can't fold it up and take it away. You can't tank on the season because you still have a legitimate shot. But without a quarterback, without a backup quarterback, what are you gonna? Who's available at this point for you to bring in? Is Brian Hoyer still available?
I mean, all the backup quarterbacks who are worth anything, you can't trade for
get
now.
Fitzpatrick off the desk at Amazon Prime. Yeah. And get him back in there.
We can get into it more on the other side, but like it is the AFC playoff picture is fascinating because
Jonathan Taylor wildcat for a few games.
Because now it literally is Mahomes is probably out, Lamar's probably out, and Burrow's probably out. So you're literally talking about three of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Josh Allen. Spotlight's on you, dude.
Maybe
let's get into it on the other side. Let's talk about it because the AFC's wide open. The NFC's wide open. The NFL is wide open right now. Whoever wins this year's Super Bowl is going to have to earn it, man, because this is about as even as I can remember the NFL being. Let's talk about it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is furnished by Be Genuine. Good Monday Night Football game tonight. Philly taking on the Chargers up in Los Angeles. Philly is currently a 2.5 point favorite with the point total set at 41.5. That game is going at 5:15. Running back Amarian Hampton will be making his re-debut tonight after missing the last month and a half to 2 months with an injury. This report has been furnished by Genuine.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. We got about 30 minutes left here. We're actually going to be joined by Natalie Schneck, who's the VP of Marketing over at Sports San Diego. They put on the Holiday Bowl, which got a new headline sponsor. How about that? Trust and Will Holiday Bowl here in 2026, because that game is going to be played on January 2nd this year. It's Arizona. It's SMU. That's a good game. That's two really good fan bases who are going to be just invading San Diego during the Holiday Bowl. So we're looking forward to it. In fact, next Monday, I think I'm doing something that I'm definitely going to regret, but is going to be very good on social media. So stay tuned for that.
Will it be embarrassing at your expense?
Probably.
I mean,
it hasn't happened yet, but it has high potential to be very embarrassing at my expense.
I like that.
But it also has very high potential to be embarrassing at Rich Ornberger, Travis Dale, and Kat Fisher's expense. And in fact, Sam, if you would like to come, I'm sure we can make that happen.
Okay. I haven't been told about any of this. I'd be happy to join.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
Depending on what it is.
It's going to be a bloodbath is what it is. But we'll see. So that's coming up in just a little bit. What I will say here is in the NFL, you got some fun to be had, man, the rest of this season. So you look at the NFC and it's far from decided. It looks like the Rams will take that one seed in the NFC. But who knows? There's still a million different possibilities. The Seahawks are playing some incredible football right now. The NFC West has a real shot right now to be the best division in football this year. Looks like they'll get 3 teams into the postseason. But the AFC is where things are a lot more interesting. So the Broncos are back at being the number 1 seed. I actually did have a thought in the back of my mind yesterday that was going to be the game that they were going to lose, the game to the Raiders. But they don't. They take care of business, and credit to them. The Broncos have been taking care of business all year. Patriots, the 2 seed, Jags, the 3 seed, Steelers, the 4 seed, Bills, the 5 seed, Chargers 6, Texans 7, leaving the Colts, Ravens, Chiefs, and Dolphins all kind of on the outside looking in. As Sammy famously said earlier in the show today, we have the same effing record as the Dolphins, which is very funny. But the Kansas City Chiefs look like
sad is what it is.
Looks like the Chiefs kind of sealed their fate with that loss yesterday.
Yeah, they're done. They're done. They have a 16% chance. They're not getting it.
So now, and I will say the very first thing that Travis Dale TD said to me this morning when I walked in was, how much pressure is Josh Allen under now? Because if the Chiefs are out, if the Ravens are out, Josh Allen, who gets a lot of smack for not getting to the Super Bowl when both those teams are in the AFC postseason, with the 2 of them out of the AFC postseason and no Joe Burrow, who put up a hell of a fight yesterday, there may never have been more pressure on one person to get to a Super Bowl in NFL history.
Seriously,
than Josh Allen this year.
He's 0-4 against Mahomes in the postseason. He's 0-1 against Burrow. And there's no excuse. Like, there's zero excuse. And what I don't want to
excuses in those years. You went up against great teams.
I've been on it for years that if you're going to talk about Josh Allen in this light, which has been fair considering his regular season accolades, he has to actually come through. And what we've heard for years is, oh, well, you know, the Mahomes 13-second game, and he just can't get by him, and it's Jordan in the 90s, no one can get by him. There's no excuse. I don't care if Josh Allen loses a game 45-42 in the playoffs. Like, he has to win. There's no excuses. There's no, he played well, he did this, he did that. If Lamar is not there, if Mahomes and Burrow is certainly not likely going to be there, Lamar probably has the best chance to be there of those 3. There's zero excuse, because if he doesn't go win a Super Bowl, and I think it's really, he has to win a Super Bowl, not even just get there. He has to win a Super Bowl because, again, does anyone really think that Mahomes and Lamar and Burrow are not going to be there next year? That they're not going to be back in the playoff picture hungrier than ever, considering both the 3 of them are about to miss the playoffs, which is crazy if you'd have told someone that before the season. If you're like, let's look at the teams. So Bo Nix, Denver, Drake May, New England, Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville, Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh, Justin Herbert, Chargers, and then CJ Stroud with the Texans. Herbert or May, you could argue, would be the second best quarterback in the AFC. You could argue whether you want May or Herbert. I think that's debatable. Stroud would probably be after that, because we're really high on Stroud a couple years ago. Then he kind of fell off last year, and then this year thought it was a lost cause, and now they look like a dangerous team. if he were to lose to one of these guys, like if he loses to Drake May in the playoffs, we're talking about, is he the best quarterback in his division, which sounds crazy.
Now, look, the excuse is still there. This is the worst Buffalo's defense has been in the last 5 or 6 years.
But I just don't want to hear that.
No, same. And guess what? If Josh Allen doesn't make it to a Super Bowl in this AFC, then there's some serious questions about Josh Allen. And I think that's completely fair. But the game that he played yesterday, right? And yeah, he got helped out. His defense with the pick six late in the game, kind of a very bizarre play for Joe Burrow to make.
The two bizarre picks that popped him in the air.
Sure. Like there was a lot that went on also yesterday, but the 40-yard rushing touchdown that he had, there's no other quarterback right now in football that can do that. It's him, because Lamar Jackson looks like he's lost a step. And Josh Allen did have one of those performances where like, oh, that's the guy. The pass to James Cook down the sideline. Excellent. Like, it's so much about that game yesterday. In fact, I think I told you before the show, Sammy, if you could promise that one game per week is going to be as entertaining as that Bills-Bengal game was, the NFL would take over soccer as the most popular sport in the world. Or in some places in the world, there's games like cricket that are crazy popular. Like the NFL would take over it all if you could promise that there was going to be one game a week that would finish 39-34 and be as back and forth as that game was. That's what Josh Allen can do for you. This year with Buffalo's defense, the problem is going to be stopping some of those guys you just said. Like the New England Patriots could easily score 35, 40 points on the Bills in the postseason.
I just think with Josh Allen, we're past the point of, even if he plays great in a playoff game and they lose, there's no excuse, because it couldn't have shaped up better for Josh Allen. His kryptonite is not going to be there in Mahomes. Burrow, his other kryptonite to a lesser degree, is not going to be there. Lamar, we'll see, but the Ravens have a lot of flaws with them not having a dominant team in the AFC. If you're the Bills, if you're a Bills fan, what cannot happen for you is the Patriots go to the Super Bowl. Because if the Patriots go to a Super Bowl, you are back to the Brady days where you were always second fiddle. You're always playing there. Josh Allen, if he is just great, which we know he can be. When I take shots at Josh Allen, it's not because of talent. It's because he has so much talent, and because he has games like he has yesterday, why it makes no sense why he doesn't win in the postseason. And is it entirely his fault? No. But at some point, it's like, you get graded on if you win. And
it's also weird because like Lamar Jackson has thrown up some stinkers in the postseason. We could just be very honest about it. Like he hasn't played his best in the postseason. Josh Allen's played really good in the postseason.
But I don't think people, even though Lamar's unbelievable, people don't put Lamar, although a top quarterback and he's going to be in a top 20, top 15 quarterback list of all time. People don't talk about him as
all time.
Lamar?
Really?
Top 15, top 20? I think it's fair. 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
Considering his career, I think Lamar.
I have to think about it a little bit for both him and Allen.
I think when Allen, people have said this is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. On ESPN, I forgot who it was, like 2 months ago, said this. You have to back that up results. I think after him, I think it's by far him in the playoffs. Herbert's going to get the excuse of that his offensive line is not there, but at some point, Herbert has to win some big games. Because Herbert, let's remember the 2 biggest games he's in, blew the lead to Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, and then he lost that game against the Raiders to get into the postseason a few years ago. So if he's in it, if you look at Herbert, wasn't going to have pressure because it was going to be all these great quarterbacks. If Allen's the only big time quarterback other than May in the AFC postseason, Herbert needs to win a couple games.
Yeah, I would agree. Now look, Josh Allen, if he puts up a performance like he did yesterday, 22 of 38, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, plus another 78 yards on the ground with a touchdown on a 40-yard touchdown run, and they lose in the postseason, it would be difficult to blame that on Josh Allen.
In my estimation, he has to win. Quick. I know we got to get out of here. I'm curious your thoughts. NFC, what quarterbacks are the most pressure of the current field?
In the current field, Jared Goff has the most. I would say that.
Even though he's got to a Super Bowl?
Yeah. Because he didn't get to the Super Bowl with the Lions, and this iteration of the Lions was the team that was like destined to get there. Sam Darnold's flying free. Jalen Hurts has some pressure on him. Absolutely. Jordan Love has some pressure on him. Matthew Stafford, I would say yes. However, like
he's won one.
They won their Super Bowl.
Right. And he's only in terms of time. I think Jordan Love's
got a ton on him.
Your boy Brock Purdy is going to get bailed out because the fact that his defense is all hurt, but he's got pressure
a ton of pressure on him too. Like they're making some decisions behind closed doors in San Francisco. Because remember when he signed this contract, it was really a 3-year contract disguised as a 5-year contract.
Right. And
if Purdy fails and is bad this postseason, they're looking at Mac Jones like, hey, we got a cheap guy.
I think Love is the guy. I'm with you on Goff because the roster has a limited time constraint. Love was paid to be the next big time quarterback in the NFC.
And they got a roster around him, man.
And the Bears aren't going anywhere in the division. The Lions, I still think, are going to be really relevant for a few more years here with this iteration of players. Like Jordan Love, he destroyed the Cowboys in a playoff game. besides that, it's been a lot of inconsistent play. They feel like you go get Micah Parsons, you give away your draft picks.
What about Baker?
Yeah.
And there's been injuries everywhere there too, but Baker's a gamer, dude.
That's interesting. I think that there's a cap on people actually thinking the Bucks have the roster to get to a Super Bowl. If they're fully healthy, I think it's a different scenario.
And they do have that playoff swagger though, where they could definitely go mess up someone's season.
They could go beat someone on the road because they're kind of playing with house money.
Right. All right. Let's take a quick break here. Natalie Schneck on the other side. We got some news about the Holiday Bowl. We'll get into it next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for a final time here and joined by very special guest, VP of Marketing at Sports San Diego, Natalie Schneck. Natalie, welcome back. Some pretty big announcements made over the last couple of days. I'm sure you haven't been too busy at all, but we have our Holiday Bowl date, time, teams, events surrounding us. Why don't you run us through it all?
Okay, here we go. So first thing is Selection Sunday was obviously the Sunday the 7th. First piece of news before the teams were even announced, we are so thrilled to announce Trust and Will as our title sponsor. So we are the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. Great community partners. Can't wait to do some things together with them. And then, of course, the big news is coming this year to the 46th annual Trust and Will Holiday Bowl are the Arizona Wildcats and the SMU Mustangs.
How about that? Two fan bases that travel really well.
That is such a great thing for so many reasons, right? Because this is, San Diego's bowl game and we love our locals. But Sports San Diego, which is the organization that produces the Holiday Bowl, we're a local nonprofit. And our whole reason that we are around is that we put on events like the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl, like the Rady Children's Invitational, the California State Games, and we serve as a sports commission. Our whole goal is to drive economic benefit to San Diego through sports tourism events. So the fact that we know we're going to see a lot of Wildcats and a lot of Mustangs in here in San Diego, enjoying staying in our hotels, enjoying our bars and restaurants, our attractions, so many family friendly things that we have in San Diego, not to mention 70 miles of coastline, right? There's so much for them to do. And that's a big part of why we are around, because we want to bring people into sports events here.
Does the Holiday Bowl, do they look for that? Like SC's played in this game a lot. Do they look for a Southwest team, like unofficially, if there is someone, Arizona kind of fit the bill, being a really good team this year that didn't make the playoff?
Anytime that we are looking at teams, obviously like travel is a part of it, but there's so many more things that go into who gets into the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. So, that's obviously a huge benefit when folks are coming in, but it's also still a huge benefit to local San Diegans, right? How many businesses are benefiting from folks coming in? How many, local people that are excited for the game every year to go to all the other ancillary events that are out there. So it all works together to create a great experience for everybody.
HolidayBowl.com to buy some tickets. We got Natalie Schneck in studio with us. She's the VP of Marketing at Sports San Diego. And it's almost here at the 46th Annual Trust and Will Holiday Bowl, January 2nd, 5 o'clock, Snapdragon Stadium. But Natalie, what else is part of that day? Because there's a 5K, there's a parade. Talk us through what's going on.
Yes, we call it San Diego's biggest holiday party for a reason. And one thing that we also say is that you mentioned it's January 2nd, 2026. This is the first year in Trust and Will Holiday Bowl history that this game has been in January. And again, the name Holiday Bowl, we are like to say this year that, the holidays are not over until the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl says it's over. So on January 2nd, here's what's happening. So in downtown San Diego at 9:45 a.m., we have the Port of San Diego Holiday Bowl Game Day 5K.
Sammy, you're running in a 5K.
Yeah, Sammy's
I'm there.
I don't think I can make it.
Sammy signed up. You'll get a medal. It's gonna be great. You're gonna PR. We know it already.
I'm there.
We're relying on you to PR. But that kicks off at 9:45 a.m., which one is a great kick time. It's a very sleep-in friendly kick time. It also kicks off right before the Port of San Diego Holiday Bowl parade presented by Kaiser Permanente. So that's really cool. So how many other 5Ks can you run that you start off and then right behind you is just the sea of balloons and bands and floats? It's a great experience in downtown San Diego. That's all at holidaybowl.com. Top menu. You can take a look at that. And then, of course, we go over to Snapdragon Stadium, 5 p.m. That's when kickoff is on Fox with the Wildcats versus the Mustangs.
Look, I like it a lot. January 2nd. I feel like maybe early January is the time for you guys.
I am so excited to see how this all pans out for folks because, when you think about it, it's, again, the holidays, you're kind of turning things in, you're kind of taking some lights down or whatever you're doing. But in San Diego, what a better way to kind of put an end cap and to tie a bow, if I dare say, on your holiday on your holiday season with our Trust and Will Holiday Bowl and all the other ancillary events that come with it.
Ben, did you know? So I was talking to Natalie before we did this interview, and she was a personal trainer for how many years, Natalie?
About 7.
7 years. Okay. So
if you're trying to get her to get me into shape, I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, we need some tips from her. All right. What's your Natalie, what is your number one fitness tip for anyone listening right now? Okay.
Number one fitness tip. It comes in threes. Now, I want to say I don't have my personal trainer certification anymore. So this is coming from a friend. But what I have always found is, sleep, steps, Water. That's a really good place to start.
Look how easy that is.
I'm like 1 for 3. I do drink water. I don't sleep very much. Steps come sometimes. But Natalie, thank you so much. SportsSanDiego.org for all the cool things that you were talking about. HolidayBowl.com. Buy some tickets, support San Diego and support Sports San Diego, which they buoy a lot here in town. All right, Sammy, you're running off to like a Chargers game or something. You're going to Monday Night Football?
I'm going I got to go up the 15 for a 3-hour drive to go to Chargers Eagles tonight.
I mean, you might as well become a Chargers or an Eagles fan now because your team's out.
So I've never put on a Charger jersey ever in my life. Never.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Any last thoughts about the Holiday Bowl before we get out?
This is the place to be on the second. HolidayBowl.com. Please visit it. And hey, follow us also on social. We've been doing some fun things.
The end zones got voted on social media. I voted for the winner. I feel pretty proud of that.
You will see we did. And I believe we are the first bowl to ever allow our fans to vote on the winning end zone design. And it's over 5,000 people across all of our social platforms. And boy, was that fun. And, look for the Surf and Snowman.
Who designed it? Was it you?
No, we work with this amazing agency and they kind of had all of these ideas. And I will say, though, that I did ask for a snowman integration. So if I could be so bold as to say maybe a little bit of my idea got in there. But
it's a snowman on a surfboard.
Snowman on a surfboard, Holiday Bowl. Yep.
Love it. All right, the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. It's the 46th Holiday Bowl. It's coming up on January 2nd. You can buy tickets now at holidaybowl.com. John and Jim coming up next. We out. We'll see you tomorrow.